Simon, do you want to introduce yourself, man, and say hello to everyone?
Hi guys, my name is Simon Garrod, and as you rightly said, I run UK Tech Fest.
Before we talk about your event and stuff, what can you tell me how you got into metal music yourself and what your journey was into rock and metal and how you ended up here?
It probably started when I was a kid. I was like a massive Michael Jackson fan. Uh, Obviously, like all the Eddie Van Halen solos and the Slash solos, all of that. That obviously led me to like Van Halen, Guns N' Roses. I got into all the classic rock like Thin Lizzy, Black Sabbath, and eventually Metallica, Trivium, Chimera, and that was off the radar from there. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, like I sort of played guitar as a kid. I was like a little classical kid when I was younger. I was playing like Papa Roach when I was in like year five on like a classical nylon acoustic. Um, yeah, many years ago. So yeah, I mean, I probably would say I started as a guitarist really, and then yeah, sort of got really into sort of nerdy metal. I suppose about 15 years ago, I realised like underground bands were more musically talented than the greats that you see headlining all these festivals in terms of like musicianship. And so I kind of just sided with that and was always on the side of like shred and just mad drums and just talented musicians. Obviously, Lost in Lavender Town, you reckon there are like prime example of that. Like, they're technically a very underground band, but they can outshred pretty much most bands on the planet. I don't think anyone would argue with that after they've seen them. Do you know what I mean?
Just before we get into anything else, how's current things going and how is Tech Fest 10th year, is it, if memory serves me right?
Yeah, we're calling it the 10th edition because the 10th anniversary was during COVID in 21. So we rolled over the 2020 lineup to 21 and then again to 22. So we kind of classed that as the ninth main event, and then this one's the 10th edition. But yeah, it's going really well. Obviously, we've got Suffocation, Chelsea Grin, Born of Osiris headlining. We're still going to be announcing like an early bird as well. Yeah, we've still got about 18 more bands to drop soon, and then there'll be 12 more after party acts as well. So we've got about 30 more bands to add to this stack already.
Yeah, what's so it's 10th year, well, 10th edition. Something that I just want to talk to is like, where did Techfest start, and what are some of like the biggest acts you've had play who have now gone on to like conquer the world?
It started. I used to run a like a gent blog basically back in the day, and I was English Gentlemen's Quarters (EDQ), and there was another group called LXD, which was the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and we basically said we were going to put on like an all dayer together. Back sort of 15, 12, 15 years ago, there wasn't really any like labels or management supporting this whole techie thing, and it was just gent blogs posting all these bands basically. So EDQ and LXD were going to do an all dayer, and we did a couple of things together, but it never really manifested into the festival. And like, I just started Tech Fest one day on a whim. I was just like, label it what it is on the can. It's just a UK Tech Metal Fest, and yeah, it just kind of took off. But like the first year was sold out in Alton Lounge Bar down south. It was like 425 people, I think we had for the first year. A little 3 day with like, Silosis, Textures, a load of bands. It was like Hacktivist's first show. Yeah, it was like, that's probably one that's gone on to do well. Do you know what I mean? That was their first ever show. But yeah, I mean, since then, like, we were booking bands like Loathe in 2016. They were playing like 2 p.m. on second stage. We had Sleep Token in 2018, which I'd say was a couple of years before, Download and all these other festivals. I think we've done that quite a bit. Like we did Pliny's first ever UK show. It was like his Europe exclusive debut in 2015, and I'd actually been trying to book Pliny since 2013. Like I was his 73rd like on Facebook, and I messaged him that night saying, "Do you want to play Tech Fest?" And like, if you look at Pliny now, like he's just selling out 5,000 cap venues, 2,000 cap venues. Do you know what I mean? He's just doing well. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I'd say they're probably some of the bands we got ahead of the game on.
For anyone that might not have heard of Tech Fest, like what is the culture behind it? What's the ethos of the brand?
Um, well, I suppose because like when I started it, like it was very much like a bedroom guitarist thing. So like my idea was like, let's just get out in the sun and like play riffs and like try and legitimize this actual genre with like an outdoor festival basically. Um, yeah, I think that was it really, just beers and riffs and a field and sun.
It's a good combination, mate. You know what I mean? It's a recipe for success.
Yeah. I think we've always put like vibes first. Do you know what I mean? Like, there is backstages and stuff, but generally like the bands just camp with the fans, and that's kind of always how it's been. Like it's just a massive party in the field. And like, you look back at some of the videos in like 2013, like monuments are just absolutely hammered and just getting involved with everyone in the campsite. And like, like the first time we had Betraying the Martyrs, they were just like, we paid all their hotels and stuff. I know, like, Simon, I'm so sorry. I know you've bought us hotels, but like, we're loving this so much. We just want to stay and party, basically. And yeah, they were up all night till the early hours. And yeah, it's just one of them. Do you know what I mean? I think we win over people with how fun it is.
Something which I'm just going to have to back off is what you do at Tech Fest. You have like the after parties, which is so much fun. I mean, still having music on until 3 a.m. in a hangar. It's just fucking mad. I mean, I can't remember anything sort of past midnight, but yeah, what was the original thinking behind putting after parties on? Like, was it always going to be that to keep the party going, or?
So the first year we didn't have after parties, but there was kind of like people with like Bluetooth speakers in the car park. And the first year, like the reason we picked the lounge bars because it was the only venue in the country I could find where all the bands could sleep inside it on the floor. And that was the reason we sort of went. And yeah, that kind of was an after party, but it was quite chaos. But yeah, like yeah, I mean, since 2013, since we first went outdoors, we've done like after parties every year, every day, sort of thing. It's usually been 2 or 3 bands. I think it's been 3 bands a night, pretty consistently. We always have like a techie right at the end where the fans can just jump on stage and sing whatever they want. It's usually tech metal, but it's quite often it's like some cheesy pop covers and all that. And yeah, we always do like a few cover bands. We've done like Rage Against the Machines, we've done Lamb of God, we've done Panteras, we've done all these sorts of like classic bands that sort of led to this sort of new metal sort of hybrid. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, this is one of them. We do a super jam every year as well, where we kind of get all the jazz fusion element of the tech scene to sort of have more of a jazz improv vibe, which I'd say was pretty cool in 2016 because we managed to get Pliny, Situai, Aaron from Intervals, Tosin Abassi, Javier, all of these people on stage, with like Mike Malian. And it's like the super jam of super jams. Like you don't see that anywhere in the world. Do you know what I mean?
How was the 10-year journey? How did you, obviously you mentioned you started in that small venue for 400 people. How have you grown over the last 10 years to be where you are now?
Yeah, the second year we went straight outdoors to this sort of biker wedding field that was local to me and kind of cheap and had been recommended by a friend. I think they were kind of more known for like, biker events and raves and weddings basically. But it worked really well. It was just, it was a bit ropey. So we were like, we wanted to go somewhere a little bit more professional, which, 2014, we found the Newark Showground, which is, I think it's like an old military base, and there's like a whole agricultural thing going on there. There's like a war museum there. There's a load of like old military planes on there. There's a couple of runways and stuff. Yeah, it's a really big area, and it's always kind of allowed us to sort of grow and sort of adapt every year. Do you know what I mean? It's quite customizable as a venue. So yeah, we've been there since 2014, up to year 10.
So obviously, knowing you, and I know there's going to be a lot of these moments, but what would be your most proud of moments over the whole Tech Fest timeline?
A couple of things. I mean, the most proudest thing is definitely the community we've built. We've created something where like people can express themselves in a very unique way, and like you can tell from like the merch that we have, like it's just as colourful as you get at a metal festival with as many items as possible. And we're very much about letting people just be themselves and do whatever they're really good at, whether it's just lights or guitar or staging or whatever they do, wherever they fit best is where we want them. Do you know what I mean? But I think like musically, like I think bringing Agent Fresco over because they're like probably one of my favorite bands, and like they credited me as like the guy that told the UK about them, which is pretty cool. Back in 2015, so and they're like really big now. They're playing Art Tangent and all these other festivals, and yeah, they're an incredible band. I'd say North Lane in 2017. That was a personal favourite, just because I just love seeing the main stage room and just packed to the brim with people just going hard. Do you know what I mean? That's my favourite part of Tech Fest, is just seeing a room go mad. Do you know what I mean?
I'm getting the vibe that this is like almost like the illegal rave subculture. Like this is like the prodigy of metal festivals. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, community-wise, a lot of my raver mates say it's a bit like a psytrance festival for metalheads.
Yeah. I'm getting that Illuminati sort of psytrance festival. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been to many raves many years ago, but like, I've got a lot of raver mates, and they all seem to appreciate Tech Fest, which is cool.
As a festival organizer, you have many challenges throughout. Especially on site. Has there ever been a point or a moment where you were on site and you were like, right, we might have to call this a day now? Like, what's been one of the biggest challenges you've had to overcome during like a show?
There's a couple. I mean, personally, for me, when someone was in a situation where they needed like emergency help, that was quite like a realization moment of how like crucial it is to keep people safe and stuff, and like how much responsibility we need to hold for things like that. That was like a real eye opener for like keeping people safe. Because I don't want anyone getting hurt or anything on my watch. Do you know what I mean? But I'd say probably the biggest challenge for the team, in 2017, there was this like weather warning where there was just going to be like 3 months of rain land on the showground in 1 hour. It's like this 3 months of rain in 1 hour meme that become a thing. And yeah, we just got this flash flood weather warning, and literally the whole place flooded like just within an hour. It's during Chelsea Grin's set, the last time they played, and in the room, other than the water on the floor, you wouldn't have known anything else was happening. But like the crew were like lifting all the stuff up onto crates and stuff and getting it out of the way. And like, if one drop like hits this mixing desk, they're fucked. Do you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, they moved like a unit, and like, yeah, from a fan's perspective, everything went fine. Do you know what I mean? It was perfectly perfect show. Do you know what I mean? They absolutely smashed it. Which one bringing them back, but yeah, that was a thing. That was a thing.
When I visited Newark Showground, Paul showed me your setup, and it's like it's three, isn't it? Three sort of warehouses, and you move from side to side, don't you? Do you want to tell us a little bit about that concept? And I believe it's no clashes as well, isn't it? Is a unique concept of that.
Yeah, we've tweaked it about over the years, but generally you come in from the campsite into the sort of merch area where you'll sort of see all the Tech Fest merch, all the band merch, and things like guitar companies, and if there's a record label or a clothing brand or something like that, there'll be a load of stores there. Some like like Daddario and all these like Evans and like drumstick companies and that, they're all there as well. But yeah, in this main area, you can either turn right into the second stage or left into the main stage or straight ahead to the bar. And yeah, it's like 20-second walk between stages, if that. It depends how packed it is, but like yeah, no clashes. They just alternate one sound checking while the other one's playing, sort of thing. It's all closed off, so it's fairly isolated. It doesn't interrupt each other. And then the only clash of the weekend is the workshops, which run in the day, which would be things like guitar lessons or like product demos from like a Strandberg or Aristides or something like that, or sort of like we do like a lot of industry insights. So it'd be like managers talking or PRs talking or booking agents. Liam did one last year, spoke about Unearthed and what he's doing behind the scenes in the industry and that. So we try and make it like an educational platform as well. Anyone that's got expertise can come and speak. Do you know what I mean?
That's awesome, man. That's a nice, unique touch to give it some variation other than just buy a beer, watch a band, buy a beer, watch a band all day.
Yeah, it means like on the main lineup, you can see every single band you're paying for, and you can see their set in full. Like it might overlap by 30 seconds, but like we're pretty fucking tight when it comes to running things. Thanks to Amanda, like she runs it like a ship. But yeah, like yeah, I mean, I'd say we just kind of want to give every band their sort of limelight. So when it's their turn to play, there's no one else playing, and yeah, people can go support everyone. Do you know what I mean?
Speaking of bands and limelight, over the years, you've probably had some lovely rider requests, Simon. Is there one that really stands out as being the most ridiculous rider request you've ever had?
Not really. I think most bands are fairly reasonable that we've booked. I'd say sort of a funny one. I was sixth in 2014. They wanted pictures of Jessica Alba in their dressing room. We did. They asked for one, and we provided more than that. So we technically didn't read the rider correctly. Yeah, we provided a load of them, and we had someone Photoshop like loads of like 6 logos onto their bikinis and stuff, and they seemed pretty happy. Do you know what I mean?
Fucking sound. I was speaking to a band, and I think they were called Gut Locker, and they say that like if any venue asks them for a rider, they won't put like beer or food or anything on it. They'll do like obscure PlayStation 2 games, and I think the last one they asked for was like Harry Potter Quidditch World Cup. Like that. Like if I'm putting a show and someone asks for that, and it's like, I'm gonna go out my way, I'm gonna buy that shit for you. And I suppose it's like that. It's like Jessica Alba pictures. All right, yeah.
We had Monuments wanted a mystery gift. So I messaged the manager saying like, your mystery gift will be at this time, and it involves your whole crew, like your lighting guy, your merch guy, manager, whoever's there. Like you can all be involved. And it was like, yeah, sweet. And we basically just brought them a magician, basically, and that was the mystery gift. But had like a magic show in the dressing room for like half hour or so. But we've done that for quite a few bands, thanks to my mate Will, and we have a guy called Mitch doing it as well now. We've got a couple of magicians in the team. I also was a magician once. I used to be a member of the Magic Circle when I was a kid, basically, so I can actually do a few tricks myself. But I'm nowhere near as good as these guys.
Is that why you like stopping Tech Fest to pursue your dreams of being a magician, Simon? Is that it? Yeah.
No, I haven't done it in a long time, but I crack out the odd trick now and again.
You mentioned the community and the tech fan earlier. How do you think, or how have you seen they're taking obviously the news that you broke the other week that this will be the last one for the foreseeable?
I mean, I say like Tech Fest is for life, Tech Fam is for life, not just for Tech Fest. And like, even last night, like local gig, loads of Tech Fest bands, Archeon and From Our Ashes, come down to my local venue, and it was literally just like we're at Tech Fest. Do you know what I mean? It's just loads of mates. We're all catching up. Yeah, I've actually got Sam from Archeon sleeping on my couch. He's a bit hungover this morning. Yeah, I mean, it's going to continue the fan vibe. Do you know what I mean? Wherever we go, like it's going to be a thing, and it's as I say, I was very clear to say it's a hiatus for now, not the end of Tech Fest. Do you know what I mean? I'm still going to be about in the scene. I'm still going to be going to shows. I'm still going to be promoting bands. I'm still going to be like helping people behind the scenes, speak to managers, agents, and book tours and stuff, and probably sending them your way, Liam. Do you know what I mean? So like, it's one of them. Like, I just need a bit of personal time because I've done this for like 12 years now, plus a couple of years before that I was doing EDQ. So I've pretty much given about 14, 15 years of my life to promoting fucking down-tuned riffs. Like, yeah, I'm not going to stop that. Do you know what I mean? I've got a lot of stuff planned, but like, yeah, I just need some time to sort my personal life out. I've like lost my dad this year, which is obviously like a absolute killer. And just constantly doing Tech Fest every year, it's quite draining. Do you know what I mean? Like it's as soon as you finish, you've got to promise dates, you've got to sign contracts with the venues, you've got to get contractors in, you've got to get bands booked. Everyone's asking you when it's happening, where's the ticket links and stuff. And like, it's just nice to have a bit of time off from all that. Do you know what I mean? Like, at least now I can sit back and look at it from a distance and kind of be like, well, I want to change this, I want to change that, I want to do it here, I want to do it there. Do you know what I mean? And there's no pressure for me to do it next year or anytime. Like, it's always going to be Tech Fest if I'm putting on a show. Do you know what I mean?
The timing's right, mate, because like you say, the second people leave that festival site, you go straight into the next cycle of your next event. So if you don't buy yourself that bit of time, before you know it, you're already wrapped up in the next cycle and you're doing early bird tickets and everything else. And it spirals from there, doesn't it?
Everything's very different from when I first started it. The economy is fucking tanked at the minute, and there's just... buying a rider is like 3 times more expensive than it was when I started. Everything's going up. Money's just worth nothing these days. And I think just given the world a bit of time to try and sort itself out, it's not, the climate right now is not conducive to running festivals. Do you know what I mean? It's just a hard time for events all over, and it's hard on the fans, which then in turn makes it hard on the festivals because everyone's needing more money to make things happen. So yeah, it's just one of them. I want to take a break for a little bit and just kind of reformat it, and it'd be nice to not think about it for a little while as well, just to have a bit of a brain break from it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you got to restart your magic career somewhere. So.
Exactly, the magician career. I'm really excited to see that now. Like
next time I'll bring some tricks for you then.
Is there any message or something you wanted to convey maybe to the people of Tech Fest in wake of the news of taking a hiatus after 10 years?
Yeah, it's definitely not the end. It is a new beginning, and just take some time to reflect on what we've built together and how much it means to you. And obviously, if you want to see us back soon, support me with some merch, some ticket sales. Come down to the last year. Obviously, I'll be doing a tech ab at the Hairy Dog with Liam again, so we'll be announcing that soon. So we're still going to do one of those. But yeah, if you want to come down, make this year count, because this will definitely be the last one of its kind. But yeah, I hope to be back in the future. So just stick with us. Do you know what I mean?
So let's look at this year then. Tell us what is going on for 2023. Who are some of the big acts that you're super excited about? And what's the deal for this year?
Obviously, the headline is like Suffocation. It's like 30-year-old death metal band. They're probably one of the greatest. I'd argue they're pretty tech in the way that they're forward thinking. Do you know what I mean? Being a ridiculously heavy band 30 years ago is pretty fucking progressive. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, no, I'm really keen to have them. Like, I love all their new material and the old material. Do you know what I mean? It's gonna be cool to see that. Obviously, Chelsea Green smashed it last time in 2017. They played for a fucking tsunami and actually went off. So I'm looking forward to that. Born of Osiris, I've been trying to book since like I started. Do you know what I mean? So it's cool to have them back. Obviously, Load, the Growing, got aborted. Exclusive. There's a load of cool bands. But I'm keen to have basically. I'd say some of the sort of smaller bands people should definitely be checking out would be like the Infears and the Archeons. There's a lot of hype, and they're sort of like they're Tech Fest regulars. Do you know what I mean? They're guaranteed to blow your face off.
What is the criteria then for a band to perform at Tech Fest? Like, they've got to be pretty heavy shit, yeah?
Yeah.
If I can't argue with the riff, basically, I'll book it. Like, if the riff's a savage, I'm just going to book it. Like, I don't care how big you are, how small you are, how much industry backing you've got, or anything. Like, I really sort of pride myself on trying to find things first and give opportunities to people that are above their sort of level to try and like inspire them to sort of keep at it. Do you know what I mean? I'd say, a band like Project Mishram a couple of years ago, no one knew who that was in the UK. Even when we announced them, no one knew who they were. And then, like, by the end of the festival, they were like the fan favourite. We brought them back last year as like a, like had to be done sort of thing. And this year I went and got them a slot at Arctangent to sort of give us a break from having them. Do you know what I mean? But a few years ago they were just a band in India that no one had really heard of. Do you know what I mean? And I'd say they've become a big part of the UK scene now. Do you know what I mean? And they're actually going to be doing some Europe dates now as well this year.
And where do you source that material? Like, where are you looking to find these bands? Are you on the ground? Are you going to shows? Are you scrolling through countless hours of YouTube?
I'm just constantly messaging Simon with my bands. That's how he knows now.
Other than Tech Fest, my favourite type of show is just a tiny, dingy metal bar. Like, I'm not a big fan of like arena gigs at all, and just London sort of like shows, academy shows. It's just there's something really sterile about it, and like I'll go for it if it's like a band I can only see there. Fair enough, but like I'd much rather be in a dingy metal bar checking out a band that no one's ever heard of. Like, that's always the side I've been on. And like, I tour drive bands, for a job, but also for scouting and for flyering. So I go out and fly at every venue I go to. I'll watch pretty much every band on the tour. And yeah, I'll just sort of try and get stuck in and meet as many people as I can along the way. Do you know what I mean? I think I've always done that. I was driving before I started Tech Fest. Do you know what I mean? I found many bands on the road like that.
Well, I think that's sort of natural progression. Unless you've got anything else to say to everyone, Simon, or
Just get your tickets for Tech Fest this year. It's just uktechfest.com. It's all pretty cheap, 4 days, and yeah, we've still got 30 more bands to announce. So if you like the lineup, you're going to get your money's worth.
it's actually cheaper to go to Tech Fest for the full 4 days than it is to watch Iron Maiden in one of their arena shows. Just saying.
Oh yeah, I mean the ticket alone for Tech Fest is cheaper than a hotel room for most nights. Do you know what I mean? If you get it early, you're talking 90 quid for 4 days and camping. I think it's like £100 now. It goes up slowly over the year, tenner each announcement. But I'd say we're pretty reasonably priced. You know what I mean? Most other festivals are a lot less bands for a lot more money, and you probably have to buy hotels on top.
Well, congrats, mate, and congratulations on the last 10 years. We wish you all the best for your little hiatus, and I hope we hope to see you back shortly. And when you have got something to present, I hope we're the first to hear about it.
And Magician Show, we want exclusive on the new Magic Show as well. Fucking straight up.
I'll do a Magic Show for you, Liam, and yeah, whenever we're back, you're more than welcome. I'll come back on anytime. But yeah, I'll see you there, Liam. Hopefully I'll see you there as well. More than welcome. Bring the Hardwired guys down. So yeah, thanks for having us and that. I appreciate it.